Hi, I'm Robin Gale Baker from Sustainable Macleod with another Sustainable Macleod gardening tip. Today I want to show you how to test the viability of seed, that's herb, flower and vegetable seed. I acquire seeds in two ways. I collect a lot of seed myself, and when I package the seed up, I label the packet with the date that I collected the seed. I also buy a lot of commercial seed, and on most commercial seed you will find that there's an expiry date or a use by date or a best by date. Don't take too much notice of those dates. Seed is generally viable for many years after those particular dates. You might get a slight lessening in viability, so perhaps you had 90% viability when the seed was fresh, and maybe that's dropped to 75%, but that doesn't really matter. Just put in a little bit more seed, and I will show you how to test the percentage of viability that you have in your seed a little bit later. Okay, you need three things for the method I'm going to show you. It's a 7-day method, and you need a roll of kitchen paper, a permanent marker pen, not a water-based one because that will run, and some Ziploc bags, medium to large size. You can reuse old bags. Now, the very first thing that I do is prepare my seed. Preparation is really important because this is a wet and messy process and you don't want to get your seed wet. So what I've done with these two packets of mine is snip the bottoms off, and I'm going to do that with this one. I always open the packets from the bottom, and that's so that I'm not cutting off any important information at the top or any instructions on the back. Now, inside the packs you'll find one of three things. Either your seed will be loose, or it will be in a foil pack, as I think it is in this one, or it'll be in a little Ziploc bag. So because we don't want to get our seed wet, the next thing to do is to transfer your seed to a tray. Now, with the seed that's loose, I'm just going to leave the packages flat so that they don't spill any seed. With the one with the Ziploc, with the foil pack, I'm going to open it from one corner. And this is so that I can very easily, this is being a bit troublesome, very easily get that seed out when I want to sprinkle it. There we are, it's open now. So that'll go on the top there so that I know which seed it is. Okay, so I'm going to run you through very quickly what I do, and then I'll go through it in detail and demonstrate. So first thing is you want to take your kitchen paper and write along the top what the seed is, and if it's got an expiry date, that date, or in my own case, the date that I collected the seed. And that's so that I can compare that seed with the seed that I've kept at the end and know which one was viable and which one wasn't. Let's say I had two lots of lettuce seed and one was viable and one wasn't. I need to know that. Okay, so then take your sheets apart. The reason I use a marker pen that's permanent is because water-based pens will smudge a little and run. So next thing I do is dip this into a shallow basin of water. I'm using a frying pan. Okay, now as you can see here, I've left the top couple of centimetres dry, and I'll show you the reason for that in a moment. Okay, so what the process is this. I'll dip the kitchen paper in water, squeeze it out, spread it out flat, put a roll of seed across the top where the label is, and then I'll roll it up and put it into a Ziploc bag where I'll leave it for 7 days. Now this is one that I did a week ago, and what I've got, I think 6 tubes of seed in here. You can see some of them have already germinated. Okay, so to go through this in detail. So first thing I'm going to do is dip it in water, keeping the top dry. And the reason I keep the dries, I need something to hang on to without the paper ripping. Okay, so now it goes down onto the bench and I roll it up just with my fingertips, hold it up and squeeze it out. This is because I don't want too much moisture, I just want the paper to be damp. Now, because I've left the top a little bit dry, though this has got fairly wet, I can use gravity to let it unroll. It'll generally unroll about 50%. Then I can put it back on the bench, and because the bench is wet, the top of it will absorb some water because I want the whole piece of paper wet. And there we are. It's unrolled, I've taken a bit off the corner, but that doesn't really matter. So now I'm going to take my seed and just spread a very thin layer across the top. Snapdragon seed is very, very small, so it's difficult to see. Now, next thing I want to do is I want to roll from the top where I've got the label and the seed so that that seed ends up in the centre of the roll. Okay, so I'm just rolling with my fingertips. Now, I'm going to pick it up like this and I'm going to squeeze it again because I don't want it, as I said before, too wet. And then because the paper roll is wider than the Ziploc bag, I'm just going to put it in like that. And what I'm aiming for is a single layer, so I'll get, as I said before, about 6 in that bag, I think. Okay, now I'm going to show you a trick to establish seed viability. Again, I'm going to put this in water. I'm going to shake it out a bit, put it down on the bench, roll it up, squeeze it out, take the top, try and get it to unroll with a bit of wiggling. Oh, that's doing very nicely. Roll the bottom with my fingertips, and this time I'm going to put on 10 Archangelica seeds. This is the Angelica that is used in glacé fruits to create that green colour. So when I've got 10 of these across, I'll go through the same process. I think that's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and I'll put the rest of the seed back on my tray. It's a little bit damp, so I probably won't reuse that seed. Okay, so I'm going to roll it up again. Now, what will happen is that when I unroll this after 7 days, I'll count the number of seeds. Here I've got 10 seeds. If after 7 days the 10 seeds have germinated, I've got 100% viability of this particular packet of seed. If I've only got 7, I multiply that by 10 and that gives me a percentage, and that would be 70% viability. If I've only got 5, I multiply that by 10 and I've got 50% viability. And the reason this is important is, let's say I wanted to plant out 100 plants, then I would need to sow 200 seeds to get 100 viable plants. Once you've put your rolls of seed in your Ziploc bag and you've got them flat in just one single layer, then you need to put them in a warm place for 7 days. So a warm place might be a sunny windowsill, it might be putting them outside in the sun during the day but bringing them in at night, it might be putting them close to a heater or close to a warm vent. I don't recommend that you put them on top of a heater that pumps air out or on top of a vent for the same reason, because that can dry the paper out and that will kill the seed before it germinates. So here's the finished product. Not a pretty sight, but nevertheless, good germination of quite a number of seeds. This is an interesting one. I've got 3 lots of dill here. I think there's the best germination on this particular one, dill 1. Dill 2 was slightly less, and dill 3, you might not be able to see the shoots there, but that's done quite well. Now, over here, I have beans, and I've got a 90% germination on these. You can see a really good shoot there. This is the only little one at the bottom there that's not germinated. And of peas here, although it's very difficult to see the shoots, there's a 70% germination. Just these 3 over here haven't germinated. So there's one final thing to do, and that's to seal up our seed. So this Archangelica seed, what I've done is I've folded it over so none of it will fall out, and I will simply use a stapler to staple it together, and next time I'll cut that off or unclip the staples. So with the Snapdragon seed, we need to seal the foil pack again and then place it inside its seed pack, fold it over narrowly, and again I'll staple that along. Okay, that's all, and I hope that your seed is viable.